In this video, I'd like to show you the difference between the voltage lines. So we have, this is a three-phase. This provides three phases, and what it means is that you have three voltage lines that are out of phase. And I'll show you what that looks like on an oscilloscope. So we have line 1, 2, and 3, and what I have done is I have displayed on the oscilloscope line 1 with respect to the neutral, and line 2 with respect to the neutral. And then I will show you how line 3 looks like on the oscilloscope. So, here's the oscilloscope. Of course, if you don't know how to use it, and then you can, and if you have an auto set button like the one I have here, you can simply click it, and that's it. So you can just turn on the oscilloscope, press on the auto set, and it will give you, but not all oscilloscopes have that. So if you don't have that on the oscilloscope, then you're going to have to work your way through in order to get the waves that you want. So here I'm given the option of what I would like to see on my oscilloscope. So I will display this, and notice the middle of my waves are not on top of each other. So I'll bring them closer to each other. Bring the blue one, the yellow one that is, on its middle. I'll put it on the main axis, and the blue one the same. I'll put it on the main axis. Okay, so now we can see that both of them are sine waves, but they're not on top of each other, and so we can see that. So that's the reason we say that they're out of phase. So there are a couple of things that we can do here. We can do measurements, like, for example, we can measure the RMS, we can measure the peak to peak, we can measure the frequency. There's a lot of things that we can do. So so what I will do here is so there's some measurements, because I clicked on auto set, I already have some measurements here. So like let's for example see here, you see in blue I have 60 Hertz. Okay, and so that means channel 2 is 60 Hertz. So I already have some information. The divisions are shown here. So both of them have the same division. So each one, this means 50 volts. If you go up one like this, you have 50 volts, to 100, 150, to 100, and so on. And if I go down, so minus 50, minus 100, minus 150, and you also have the time. The time is also provided right here. 2.5 milliseconds. So that means if I go like this, I move horizontally, 2.5, so 2.5 milliseconds, 5 milliseconds, and then 7.5 milliseconds. Or if I go backwards, minus 2.5 milliseconds, minus 5 milliseconds, minus 7.5 milliseconds. I would like to do a few measurements. So here I'll click on measure. So I have the measure button here, which I just clicked, and then I'll go to channel 1. So you can see here I'm provided with some options. So I'll click on channel 1, and I'm given a lot of options here, and I'll use my knob to select what I want. So I can measure the period if I want. I can measure the frequency. So I'll measure the frequency. So I'll go down with my knob, highlight it, click on my knob. Yep, it selected it, and I would like to measure the RMS. So now I have highlighted the RMS, and I'll click on it, and that gave me the RMS. So I can already see So for my channel 1 is what's in blue. So I can already see here, this is the RMS value, it's 122. In theory, it's 120, but in practice, it's not exactly that. And the frequency, which does vary a little bit, but it's close to 60. And so I already have that. So I can go now to channel 2 and also select what I want to measure. So with my knob here, I'll highlight frequency, and I'll also highlight the RMS. No, I selected the wrong one. Now I got it. So now I'll just remove the menu. That's all I need. So we can see both of them. See the RMS of the blue line and the yellow line are both measured. That's 122. And you can also see the frequency for both. So, so another thing that we can do here is measure the phase difference. So this can be done visually. So you can measure the phase difference from this point to this point. You can use the cursor to do that actually. So there are different ways of doing it. So if I click on cursor, for example, and so for example like this, I can click on the cursor, and so you can click on time, and you can drag the cursor, so from this point you can drag the cursor and take a value. So now I have the cursor at this point, and if I want to measure what is the time difference from this point to this point, it is possible. And you can do that with the cursor. So I won't be doing that on camera, but that's something that is possible to do fairly easily with the cursor if you decide to use the cursor. The other thing that I would like to show is, I'll try to remove the cursor here, off. So you can turn on or off the cursor. So the other thing that I would like to show, so now I'm showing line 1 and line 2. So those are the two lines that are connected to my oscilloscope. I'd like to show line 3. So I'm gonna just turn it off. It's always safer like that. And then I'm gonna show line 3. I'll turn it on. So notice, so you can, there was a difference between line 2 and line 3. So they're all out of phase. They're all out of phase from each other. So I'm just gonna show you again the difference, and you can see that. So notice the difference between these the line 2 and line 3. So this is line 2. If I remove it, and this is line 3. So they're all out of phase with each other by 120 degrees. So 120 degrees between line 1 and line 2, 120 degrees between line 2 and line 3, and 120 degrees between line 3 and line 1.